Another day, another 5 litres of unleaded. So I'll get that in a minute. Let's see what the chrome pen came out like. Pretty bad, but when the lens is on, you're not going to see through that, I don't think, because of all the shape on the lens, you know. I think it's going to look better than it did before. Now, I've had a look into these here, and basically they're not that available. I have found somebody selling just the back part for only £12, but it's all broken. But yet it's less broken than mine. It's still got the 2 top bits. It's supposed to have 2 prongs sticking up the top that you locate in the holes, because there's a couple of holes here and here, and then basically you're supposed to screw it at the bottom. The bottom ones are missing, but the top ones are there, so it's going to be better than the one that I've got. The only problem is the inside, all the it's all gone. This has all come away, so it's basically just black on the inside now. And I did find somebody else selling, there's a few people selling lenses. I did find one auction for a lens, and I said, would it include the back part? And he said yes. So I've put a bid in for that for £35, and I think it's something like £4 postage. But that is a bid. But I'm thinking, in the UK, how many people really are working on these? So I'm hoping I'm going to be lucky with that. In which case, then I don't have to worry about messing around with this. I can just get one and fit it properly, and then I don't have to do like a bodge job on it. Anyway, got plenty to get on with today. I'm going to try to get this lens back on here, the glass lens, and then maybe today I can do some painting underneath. Right, so that's the carpet in the boot, and the footrest drying very nicely. Still extremely green round here. Yeah, it's dried a lot more than I thought it would. I left it out overnight, and it didn't rain, and there mustn't have been much dampness, because yeah, it's drying very, very nicely, which is good. I've just spotted this on the inside. Keep getting sidetracked. Never noticed before, but can you see here there's 1, 2, 3 little slats. Here there's only 2, and it looks like one has been trapped in here somewhere. So let's see if I can bend it over. Here it comes. Here it comes. There. Wow, that has to be the easiest fix on the Rolls-Royce so far. Right, I'm going to change my clothes and get started. Now that I've got the lens out and all these metal bits away, I'm going to use this opportunity to use a bit of teacup and just clean up in here, because there's going to be some overspray from when I was messing with this bit. Messing, I say ruining this bit up here. There's something so satisfying about cleaning glass. It's come up lovely, and it's given me an indication of where the clips go, because I've got little bits of rust where the clips are. But as well as that, if you have a look, they're actually bigger. So where the clips go, the glass sticks out here, sticks out here, sticks out here, nothing at the sides, and then it sticks out here, here and here. So I need 6 clips, and I know which way to put it, because you have this design here. But as well as that, I just need to put it so where it says made in England is up straight. So that's going to come out absolutely lovely. Look at that. I've got a feeling that it's going to be one of those things where it's easier to take off than put back. Let's see. Now, if it fills with condensation, what I might do is I might put a bead of some sort of silicone just around here, because this rubber gasket has now gone quite hard, so it's probably not sealing very well. I wonder if I should do that now, actually. Yeah, let me put a bit of silicone on it now, because it's clearly leaked, isn't it? So I'm just going to use this stuff here, Granville clear silicone. Obviously it's going to make it harder for it to come off in the future, but you should be able to break the seal off this. Right, so that's a little bead of silicone all the way around, and it's nice and dry on the inside. You can actually see little stone chips on this as well. Oh yeah, they do just clip over very easy actually. Just this one's been a bit stubborn. Let's come out now. Let's do this one here. I'm wondering if there's fouling something on the back. There we go. Oh, wow. That's a strong one. So it looks like you put the front on first and then you clip up the back. Yeah. So when there's room, it's easy. Ah, look at that one. Wow. I was expecting this to be a nightmare. There we go. Right, that one was stubborn. We are in. Excellent. Right now, that looks as good as the other side. So that is that one there, the good side. And this is this one here. Looks alright, doesn't it? Look at that. Excellent. So now when you're looking here and here, they both look as good as each other. Oh, well happy with that. Right, now because it's going to be a while until the other parts arrive, I think I'm going to put the chrome trim back on and also the bottom bit as well, and just balance that in there for the time being. Now on these parts here, it's going to be very hard to get to the back once they're on, so I'm going to use some auto gleam metal polish on them. I'll do it on this one as well. Can't tell you the weight of that there. It's so heavy. Oh, look how that's coming up there. Ready? See this bit here? Look at that. That has come up an absolute treat. When I compare it to the other side, there's no comparison. So if you look here now, look at the difference. Looks much better. You can see all the dirt and tarnish coming off. And there we have this one here. I'm missing one of the little plastic lugs, so I'll have to see if I can get one of them. They just push in by the looks of it. Well, let's pop this in. Something like that would be incredibly easy to go shopping. Do you remember that used to be a thing on cars? People used to go shopping on other people's cars to nick bits. But with that one there, all you'd have to do is yank it out and it will come straight out because it's only clipped in with these. Well, I think I definitely need new clips. This is proven troublesome. I'm just going to widen out the plastic a little bit. Right, do you know what? Why do I need the clips to come out of there? I'm going to super glue them into this metal thing. There's no point in constantly struggling with it because they don't need to come out of this anyway. It would only be if they were to break and you want to replace them. In which case then you could just use a pliers and yank it out. I'm just using some epoxy here.
So these plastic clips are supposed to push fit into this metal surround, but when I clip the plastic clips into the part on the car, then that's a better connection than the push fit into the metal surround. So it just keeps popping out, which is really irritating, because then you have to take it all off again to take the thing out. So rather than relying on the push fit, I'm just going to use a bit of epoxy glue here to glue them into place.
Right, they're all glued into place now, so I can pop it in and hopefully it will stay nice and tight in there. Right, while I'm waiting for the epoxy to go off, I'm going to put in some power steering fluid, because a lot of people said in the last video when my son was revving the car when I was checking the lights and stuff, that it sounded that there was a bit of a squealing coming from somewhere, and a lot of people said check your power steering fluid here, and sure enough, when I look in here I can see fluid, but can you see it's just at the very very bottom of that. As I say, I don't know if the squealing is coming from that, but let's add some. I'm using this here, D3. Recommended for applications requiring Dextron 3. Apparently this is Dextron 2, but Dextron 3 is a replacement, so I've read. And it says suitable for Rolls-Royce. Let's pour some in here. Let's see if that's enough. A bit more. Oh, still barely on it at all. Now we're getting there. I think I might leave it at that. I'll put a little bit more in, I don't want to go over max. Right, so do it up, undo it. Yeah, there you go. Oh, we've got a min on that side. Oh, didn't realise. Max this side, min that side. Right, well I'm just on the min, so I'm going to put a bit more in. It's quite fine between the difference between max and min. It's interesting that it's on different sides. Right, so that's just below the max and above the min, so I'm happy with that. See, it's over the min, but it's under the max. Now, when it comes to coolant, I've never done anything with this car. Remember, I haven't serviced this car yet. Too many other things to do. But it does appear to have fluid in here. I just don't know how much of it is coolant and how much of it might have been topped up with water throughout the years. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to siphon off some. Really, it all needs emptying and sorting out. But just for the time being, I'm just going to siphon off some through this pipe here. And then I'm going to put this stuff in. And this is like the proper coolant for it. Whether it makes any difference or not, I highly doubt it. But yeah, let me siphon some off and then top it up with that. There we go, you can see it's siphoning away for itself there. So I'm just going to take out about a pint, maybe 2 pints, and then top it up with the other stuff. Right, I've got the surround back on now. Even with the glue, it was still a nightmare. What I had to do is, I had to take it off again. I had to bend this part more in, because when I clipped in this side here, it was trying to force out this side all the time. So by bending it in a little bit more here, it's brought this side in. And now, I think it looks okay. Not perfect. If I look at this metal strip down here, the lines don't really look right, but I'm going to wait until I get this, because it might have some adjustments at the bottom that can throw this bit up or down a little bit. But yeah, can you see there, it kind of forces all the way over to here. It's not a nice gap. There's a gap here, then it goes up, but look at it on the good side, there's also right against there, so it's a nice gap, and then it goes up here. So I mean, maybe there is adjustment, maybe this whole thing needs to be pushed out a bit, maybe it is possible to adjust that kind of stuff. But anyway, for the moment anyway, it is looking better because the lenses look nice now. So once I get the replacement lens and back body for that, hopefully I'll win that bid, and then I can put that in and get it all nicely adjusted, and that will at least look as good as the other side. So it's still draining away there. I can see that there's some weird contraption here. That must be to measure if the fluid's low. And looking in here now, it looks like we're very nearly at the minimum, or at the minimum. Let's see whether or not the dashboard light will light up. Will this car give me something? Will something work? Here we go. Yes, it's lit up. Wow, that is actually lit up there. Fantastic. So the engine coolant light does work. It's just very hard to see because it's so bright here. But can you see there the colour difference between that? Result. Something works and I haven't had to fix it. Right, so we have a maximum mark here and a minimum mark here. So I'm going to aim to get it somewhere in the middle. If I can see it, it's a little bit dirty, so it's a bit hard to see. I suppose it depends on the colour of the coolant. If it's a nice bright colour, I'll be able to see it easier. Right, so I'm pouring a bit in. This is coolant and obviously antifreeze as well. If you pour these things on their side rather than that, they don't tend to glug as much. So I've put some in. I'm just on the minimum at the moment. There's not a huge difference between min and max. I'm just going to do it bit by bit. It's green in colour. It's extremely hard to see because the bottle's not very clean. Oh, when I shine it through I can see it. Right, okay, I'm nearly halfway. I'm just going to put a tiny bit more. There we go, that'll do. There you go, so that's the minimum. Maximum's above that, and can you see the green line here? Yeah, so you can see it's above the, you can see it's nearly halfway. Yeah. Right, I'm going to start it up just to see if it is still making that kind of whining noise. I definitely heard that last time when Ben was here. That's it, yeah, don't rev it yet, let it just tick for a minute or so. Try the horn. Yeah, that's enough, yeah. Okay. Right, give it a little blip, see if it's going to be run nice, give it a little bit. And again. Nice. Right, okay, should we do the headlights to begin with? So do half lights. Let's see what comes on. Right, so that's that we'll look at. It looks such a meanie. Right, so they're working. And I don't remember hearing that before, so maybe it's just because it's been sat for so long and things need to move around the place, or maybe it is the power steering fluid. Why is the power steering fluid gone down? Is it something that just wears away, or is there another leak somewhere? Not too sure. So I'm going to start it up, I'm going to listen out for the noise. Also, I'm going to reverse it a little bit because I want more access to this door because I want to get that back in today as well. So, right, okay, I'm in park. Here we go. At long last, my fuel light is off. Wait until the brake lights. There we go, they're off now as well. So let's just pop it into reverse. Foot on the brake, and I'm just going to put it back a little bit. So not used to driving this car. Right, that should give me enough room to open that door, I'm hoping. Just trying to look behind, see how close I am to the bins. Right, I think I'll leave it at that. Put it into park. Let's put the foot brake back on. The parking brake, I should call it. Right, I just want to see oil level. Yeah, see, as far as I'm concerned, my oil level is high, but yet when I press the oil level here, the fuel gauge doubles. It's quite clever, it doubles as like an oil level as well, and when I press it, it's only going that far. So I don't think that's working properly. Anyway, I can't hear a whine. The whine's gone. Oh, it does sound much smoother. Oh, thank you everybody. So many people said power steering. So, yeah, it must have been power steering then. Okay, well I'm not going to run it for ages because I don't need to right now. But yeah, the whine, it's definitely not whining, which is good news. Unless of course when it warms up it might start whining. I don't want to get it too warm, you see, because I do plan to go under the car today, and I don't want to burn myself in the exhaust. Fantastic. So I'm just going to try to push this back in along here. I can see that there's a load of wires hidden here as well, so they must be for the lights and stuff like that, you know, the interior lights. Right, I've got it back in now, and it's held nicely down there, but we have the same problem again where it's loose. Yeah, look at that, really, really loose. So I presume what's happened is maybe this has come a bit away over time, so it's no longer gripping nicely on there. But what I'm going to do is, I was wondering how to solve this, and I was thinking maybe a bit of glue, and then I've got this stuff here. This is VHB, I think it means very high bond tape. It's really, really good stuff. Normally you need to put it on, I think it's for 24 hours before you attach weight to it, but it's very good stuff, very, very good stuff. So I am going to, because it's kind of thick, I'm just going to fold over a little bit around here and kind of force it in, and I think then it will just I'm hoping it will just kind of hold it in, and then after 24 hours or so I'm hoping it will kind of set. Well, I've stripped loads of bits off. It's lovely stuff to work with, and yeah, I mean, it seems to be holding already, so hopefully after 24 hours or so it will be in place there. So I'm going to do the same on the driver's side as well. Right, so I've done the driver's door leather trim now as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to swap over this metal trim at the bottom here. I'm going to turn it around that way, because looking at it, this here to me looks like the most damaged part, not so much underneath. So if I swap it over, the underneath there will be over there, because these look like they are reversible, because this one's going at this angle here. So yeah, so that angle, that angle, that angle, and if you flip it round, it's going to be that angle, which is that angle there. So I think your eye is more drawn to the front of the car rather than the back. So I'm going to just get the access panel like you've seen me do in the other episode, and I'm going to basically swap the plastic clips. Well, all I have to do is take out the metal clip from this side, put it that side, and then rotate it over. So now I just need to move this one here to this side, and we should be good to go. Oh, that's annoying. They're not reversible, because this needs to be going down this way, and now it's going to be going that way, and the back is also going that way as well. Well, I mean, it looks much better regards the dent, like much better. But now I know it's upside down, it's going to annoy me, isn't it? See, I don't think anybody would notice that. I mean, what you could do is you could do it upside down on both sides. Let's have a look from a distance. No, it doesn't look right, because the thing is, I suppose it's shaped like that to make the car look like it's moving, like going forward, lurching. That doesn't look right. It's yeah, that's annoying. Okay, well that was a waste of time. I'm going to put it back to how it was. Right, it's back on now, so that was a waste of time. Fortunately, my eye is still really drawn to it though. The verdict's still out. In the future I might well swap them over. Right, okay, I need to now drive the car forward, so I've got a bit more room to work on, and let's start painting little bits underneath. At long last, what I said I'm going to do at the beginning of the video, I'm hopefully getting to now. So I'm going to be using some Hammerite here, which is direct to rust metal paint hammered black, and I'm going to be just wire brushing things. So to begin with, I'm going to do each of the wheels, but I'm not going to go crazy on them. I'm just going to basically paint around this edge here, and then hopefully that will lessen the chance off when it rains rust marks coming down and staining the tyres. So you can see here, normally I wouldn't see it, but with the white walls you can see here that when that was at the bottom there, that because it was sat for however many weeks, a rust mark develops there. So I'm not going to spend ages on it, but I'm going to paint a little bit of black on that, and then I'm going to wire brush down this underneath here and then try to give that a coat as well.
Whilst I'm doing that, let's give a shout out to the My Mate Vince Massive. The Massive members this month are kitdigital.com, Kip Hakes and Max Rokotansky, Having Fun Repairs, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeeps.com, DJ VG, Pigsy, Robert from Timsy's Auto Air, Daniel Watson, Anthony Dean, Bazza2, Russ Melanson, Gaspar Heller, Rickard Bergland, Jacob Culpin, Matt Rawlins, Soul Reaver 555, Dorian from Hoover Lux Restorations, and Angry Al Tech. Massive thank you to each and every one of you.
Right, so that's the spare wheel there, looking much nicer. That's the driver's front wheel, looking much nicer. Painted both sides as well. So now, hopefully when the rain hits it, it's not going to rust everywhere. I left these ones with no paint on because I don't know if it's going to be fully dry when I put them back on, because they're the bits that actually make contact. So now what I'm doing is I'm just touching up a few bits in here. I just sprayed up the little nuts and bolts that I did the other day, and put a little bit of spray on these screws from the access panel because they're starting to get loose after just undoing them twice now. They're not really gripping properly, so the paint there will help it grip. I've used some Hammerite green paint here just to touch up the brake pipes, because when I did the brakes here I touched them up with a bit of black Hammerite, but I just made them green to match them with everything else. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of brake grease to these moving parts here. You see where the spindle kind of moves in and out here? So I'm just going to add a little bit of brake grease to there to help them slide nicely as they wear down here. I've got a feeling I will have to replace the discs for the MOT, but I just want to see if it will pass or not. And yeah, then we can put the wheel back on. Then we can go onto the back wheel and paint up that one. Now I'm going to take some of them from that side and put it onto this side here, because I want the minimum amount possible. Right, now at long last I have to torque up the bolts for where the calipers meet this whole disc assembly here, because I never torqued them up before because I didn't know what torque to do it, but now I do. Well, I hope I'm correct in here because it's not that clear, but as far as I can see it's that bolt there and that bolt there, which is 38 set screws, front caliper to stub axle, and Newton meters is between 75 and 81. So 75 and 81. So basically with this here, you loosen this off at the bottom here, and you can see I've got a 0 scale here going up to 12, I think it is, or 14, and it counts up going up here, so I can see 70 here. So I'm going to bring it round to 70. So that is that's 70 there, and I want 75 to 81. So 75 would be here, and 80 would be there. So let's do 78. That's somewhere in the middle, isn't it? So then you lock the bottom by turning that, and now incredibly hard. 1 second. Move the camera out of the way. There you go. So you can hear it click, and that means then it's at that torque. Right, I checked all 4 bolts, and yeah, they all gave. None of them tightened before giving. So I know they're at least tight enough, but maybe I've over tightened them. Because remember, I could have put them up to 100 by hand, and then it's still going to give at 78 or whatever you set the torque wrench to, as long as it's underneath whatever these are. I'm not 100% sure that the workshop guide I'm looking at the correct thing, because I don't know. 75 to 81 Newton meters. I'm not sure if that's actually going to be enough for these. I'm going to do a little bit more research on that, because in my opinion that seemed to give quite easy, and I remember when I took them off they were a nightmare. So maybe I'm reading the torque settings for something else. So I'm going to do a little bit more research on that one.
My oh my, why does it have to be so hard? If this was on something like the MGB GT, it'd be written down in the Haynes manual. I've had a look on other cars, and of course it's online. On those ones it's much higher. It's like 120 Newton meters plus. So I'm pretty sure these are, it's definitely, I think the setting that I've seen, that I've looked at in this video, is way too low. Looking on forums, because think about it, in the days of the internet this job still must have been done 1,000 times. It's not a common car, but at the same time it's not a rare car either. So tomorrow somebody will be doing this job somewhere in the world. The week after that somebody else will be doing this job somewhere in the world. But yet when I look on the forums, people are saying that there is no torque set. Well, I say people, I've only come across one thing in one forum. I was looking for about an hour, but it's easy to get sidetracked. It says that there is no torque setting, it's what the bolt can handle. So you look up the size of the bolt and then you do it up to that setting. But that, to me, that doesn't sound right. There should be a torque setting for the caliper bolts. If somebody knows it, please put it down in Newton meters in the comments. Or if you've got a link to it, don't put down a link because it will be deleted. But if you could just maybe write it out without the www dot, or tell me where I can find it so I can read it. It's just the terminology and stuff is so confusing. But yet, if you look it up for your car, I bet you will easily be able to find it within 5 minutes on Google what your torque setting is. But somebody please let me know what it is for a 1988 Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit, because I think 75 Newton meters, or whatever I read it out to be in the video, to me that seems way too low. But let me know what you think.
Right, so my wheel is back on, car is still jacked up at the moment, and I haven't looked at this in a long time. The rat trap underneath here, so basically the brake assembly, the brake pedal's up here, and it pushes down, and all it's doing is opening up a little valve down here. So that's why the brakes here feel completely different than other cars, because there's no like master cylinder, you're not pushing any fluid around. When I put my foot on the brake pedal here, all I'm doing is opening up a valve, and remember it's all pressurized. Underneath here, that's where the valves are. And last time when I got the car there was a massive leak patch here that I thought was from the windscreen, but it wasn't. It was from the rat trap, because it was full of brake fluid, hydraulic fluid. So let's see what it's like now, because believe it or not, they're designed to leak, and I'm hoping I'm not going to find gallons under there. I think what it is every service they must take this off, clean it up and put it back up, because they're designed to leak. It's weird, but the tolerances are so tight that it always needs to be lubricated, and you will get drips forming apparently. So anyway, I haven't undone this since. Let's see what we got here. Oh yes, brilliant. Well, bearing in mind it hasn't been on the road, but I haven't got huge amounts. I've got what looks like maybe a couple of teaspoons, maybe a tablespoon or so. Can you see it there? Hold on a second. Yeah, there. That one there, there's just a tiny little bit. Let me zoom in. There, can you see it there? So I would say that's completely normal. So I reckon the reason there was such a puddle there is because it probably hadn't been taken off in the previous 10 years or maybe 50,000 miles or something. I think that might be normal. Bearing in mind, I can't compare it to anything. But that's good news, because I don't think that's going to need replacing. Shame that they tried jacking it up here. Look at all the damage here. I might take it off and try to knock those bumps out of it, because it's all bashed up underneath. All there. Well, that is good news. Right, so I am losing light for today. I think I'm going to call it a day. I was just having a look at this wheel hub here, because this here has to be sprayed grey, the same colour as the car. Let's take them off. It's not too bad. You just work these things off. If you get a screwdriver into the holes and work them up, they kind of pop off, and then this whole middle section here will come out, and that will allow me to spray it. So I'll be able to spray them, and also I can then give them a nice gloss coat finish, you know, a clear coat finish, and I think that will look quite nice. I've ordered up the seatbelt as well. Let me show you how you can tell what seatbelt you need. There's a little code just down here. So if we look here, I looked earlier and it's some sort of UB code. So if you see there, can you see UB70001? And I think I paid, can't remember what I paid, £68 I think it was for it, because lots of people said that, Vince, it's not a hole, it's going to be the plastic thing that stops it from sliding down, and I got all excited. But look, unfortunately I've got the plastic thing there, and the hole is here. Can't see it now, but the hole's here. So it lines up perfectly with this here. So basically that there lines up perfectly with getting caught there. So the door's been slammed numerous times on that. So yeah, a hole in the seatbelt is an MOT failure. So that's the reason why I've bought another one, but hopefully it should be a straightforward job to change out. Another day, another 5 litres of unleaded fuel for the Rolls-Royce. Will this make the needle move? Anyway, I'm going to take this off as well, because I've decided as well that now it is getting a respray rather than a wrap. Right, we are filled, and I've taken the wrap off there now as well. It is one thirsty beast. I'd be interested to see how much it takes to actually fill this car up. I need to look up the size of the tank, because around my area they have like a £99 limit per fill. So I did see it recently in one place go up to, I think it was 110. So I don't think £99 or 110 would fill this car. So what do? You have to put the pump back, go in and pay, come out again and do a second transaction? Seems a bit of a ball ache. So yeah, but it certainly is one thirsty beast. At long last I'm able to get the hammerite and the stone chip and stuff on parts underneath the car, like for example this big tyre carrier. So after what seems like a small eternity, I finally get some paint on under this car. I say some because if you look at the state of my arms, most of it manages to go on me. That's the problem with paint and gravity. Anyway, we are making progress. It's slow, but we are making progress. Every video that goes by, there is a list of things that are getting done. It just seems that sometimes you look at one thing and 3 more jobs crop up in when you look at that one thing. But that's the way it goes when you're working on old cars. Everything is incredibly time consuming. But massive thanks to everybody that watches these videos. I know there's a hardcore group of you out there that really do enjoy them. So that gives me a lot of motivation. I'm hoping within the next few episodes now we might be at the stage where we can take it for an MOT. Bit by bit it doesn't look like I'm doing much, but if you kind of jump back in 3 or 4 episodes, then a lot of progress has been made. So yeah, it's all good. We will get there eventually. In the meantime, think about giving it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, what's going on? Look at the episode we're on now. Come on, it's about time you subscribe. Get me closer to that 1 million mark. I will hopefully see you all maybe in another week or so. Until then, take care, and thank you so much for watching.